Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the problem of evil. Can God punish the good? Can God bless or reward the evil people? Is that possible? So, this is some of the topics we're going to go into. Now, a while ago, I made a video about the problem of evil where I defended the divine command theory thing. And in that video, I kind of said something like this. I said, it is possible that God creates a world where all the people are in heaven, enjoying heaven. And it's possible that God creates a world where all the people are in hell. And it's possible that God creates a world where some are there, some are in heaven, some are in hell. So I said, in any which way, God will be justified if He created this. That's what I said. Now, there's something I want to clarify here. I want to make some kind of subtle clarification. While the essence of the whole idea is correct, and this is somewhat the Asharite position, there are some things I've come to realize later on, like when you go deeper into the text, you realize something. The law of non-contradiction. Okay? This divine command theory thing, it doesn't exclude the law of non-contradiction. Okay? So, there has to be some kind of coherentism that you add to your divine command theory. It cannot just be divine command theory. There has to be some coherentism where the good are clearly defined, what is good is clearly defined, and what is evil is clearly defined, such that they cannot be mixed. The good cannot suddenly become evil. Do you get? Under the same system. Okay? So I'll go into more details of what I'm talking about, but that's the main point of what I'm going to talk about here. So, I don't know which way I should go first. Okay, let's start with this. Okay? When I said that God can create a world where all the people are in heaven, and all the people are in a world where all of them are in hell, what does that really mean? What is the meaning of heaven? What is the meaning of hell? You realize that those terms have some meaning that we attach to them. So heaven is not just a place where people are enjoying. It's usually a place of reward, where people are rewarded for being good. Okay? And hell is a place of punishment. So notice that we've introduced two concepts now. A place where people are enjoying and being rewarded or being blessed, and a place of punishment. The idea of punishment is there. Now, all these terms are somewhat analytic, meaning punishment only applies to those that have done evil. Punishment only applies to the evil people. You cannot punish the good by definition. Do you understand? I will explain more. You cannot punish the good by definition. Anyone that tries to punish the good by definition will be contradicting himself. So, notice what's going to happen here. For someone to be in hell, God will have to have judged him as being evil before sending him to hell. Okay? So if God judges a person as evil, then it is justified to send him to hell. But if God judges someone as good, God cannot then send the person to hell, because hell is a place of punishment, remember? And you cannot punish the good. You can harm the good. You can make them suffer, like pain, but you cannot punish the good. Do you understand? So hell is not just a place of suffering. It's a place of punishment. And the idea of punishment is analytic. Therefore, only the people that have been judged as evil can go to hell. Do you understand? So remember, it's not even about, all judgment still is with God. So the Asharite concerns are still maintained that everything is according to God's will. But when you say that God can punish the good, it's contradictory, because punishment can never apply to the good. Punishment cannot apply to good, because God will be judging the person as good and then punishing the person. That will be injustice. Okay? And also, the person you're punishing, you're not really punishing him, you're just making him suffer. So you become unjust in your act of punishing the person. Do you understand? Like, imagine something like this. There's an innocent person. So we decided that we want to punish this innocent person. We cannot do this. By definition, we cannot. Do you understand? Like, I think even Stoicism, they have this kind of concept. Like, evil can never happen to the good. Because they can suffer, they can experience misfortune, but it can never be punishment. Like, it can never be evil because of what they are doing. Okay? So, that's the subtle difference I want to make in this statement. So, when the Asharites say that God can punish the good, what they really mean, I think what they are trying to say, is that we don't know who is good and who is bad. We might think someone is good, but God can judge that person as not good, and therefore will be justified in sending that person to hell. I think that's what they're trying to say. They wouldn't want to say that God will judge someone as good and then punish the person. That would be contradictory, and I don't think that's what they're trying to say. So the statement looks like a little bit overboard. So we need to add coherentism to our divine command theory. That way we can defend it much more rationally. Because in the end, we leave everything to God. So God decides who is good and who is bad. But after he has decided who is good, he cannot then send that person to hell, because that will be contradictory. It does, yeah? Do you get it? Like A and not A. It's a contradiction. And God does not contradict himself. So we might think someone is good, and to God, that person is not good. So God will be justified in sending, I think, for all we know, all human beings are under the grace of God anyway. So if God decides to save you, is by his grace and his mercy, really. It's not like you deserved it or something like that. So no one can deserve it, really. It's by God's grace. But God can justifiably punish people. Okay, that's one. So another thing I'm talking about here is that there's a distinction between the concept of a conscious being and the concept of an unconscious being. Okay, so imagine a stone. The stones that are in hell, burning for eternity. The stones in there. So those stones, no one is protesting for them. Like, why are the stones not in heaven? Right? Because they're not conscious. So somewhat, the stones, they can be in hell, heaven. It doesn't matter where they are, because they're not conscious. They can be put in hell, and there will not be any judgment needed. No judgment is needed to put the stones in hell. However, when you're talking about conscious sentient beings, there has to be a judgment. So God will have to judge them first. And that's why it is a contradiction if you say that God can punish the good. Because who is making them good? They are not good in and of themselves. So it is God that decides that they are good and then punishes them. Do you see? That is why it's a contradiction. Think about the argument very well. It's not just that God is bounded by some principle. No. It is God deciding that this person is good by his judgment, and then he sends him to hell. It doesn't work like that. Do you see? Or this person is evil, and then he sends him to heaven. It cannot work. There has to be some kind of judgment or grace. It cannot be because the person is evil or something like that. So these are some of the things that I just wanted to clarify and put. So divine command theory, you can defend it as long as you add some kind of coherentism, the law of non-contradiction part, to show that we leave all judgment to God. Is true in this regard, but God cannot contradict himself. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but think about the argument. If you have any objection, put it in the comment section. I will show it more in another video where I will write it on the board to show you. But remember that principle that I just told you. It's impossible to punish the good. It's impossible. Your punishment will become causing pain to the good. So just like when we are alive right now, when you see bad things happening to good people, don't think that God is angry with them. Don't think that God is punishing them, because God is just causing pain for them. Maybe because of a test, for some other reason. It cannot be because they are good. Do you understand? This also applies to us right now. That when we will see bad things happening to good people, it's not because they are good. It's not because of their goodness that God decides, like, let me punish you for being good. It has to be like causing pain. But if you're an evil person, it can be punishment for you. Do you see? It can be just a test for you too, but it can be punishment for you. This way you even understand many things, like when a tsunami happens and everybody dies, both the believer and the non-believer. You can understand that for each person, according to their character, according to who they are in front of God, according to the judgment of God, they will be different. So the same tsunami killed everybody. The same evil, bad thing happened to everybody. But the believers, the good people among them, it will not be evil for them. It will not be punishment for them. It will be just a test, or God taking them to himself, or something like that. So that's what I want to clarify. I think the idea of God punishing the good, like in hell or something like that, you can reply to this and say, no, it's impossible. God cannot contradict himself, because God is the one doing all the judgments. It's not like there's some kind of good person we know, like, okay, let's see if God will punish this guy. There is no such person. All we know is that God is the one that will do the judgment. And once he judges a person as good, they are truly good, and God will send them to heaven. And if he judges the person as evil, if that person doesn't get forgiveness, that person is going to hell. It's as simple as that. There's no contradiction in that. And God will be justified. Now, look at this. Pay attention to these guys. Notice what just happened. God will be justified in every situation, because look at what's going to happen. The people that will go to hell will never be good people. So God can never be, it's not injustice. There's no injustice anymore. So the people that God is sending to hell in every situation, they will not be some good people that will not be like, God is what's it called? That is not their fault. It will be their fault, because they would have done the evil acts and they would have been evil, truly evil, or they would have committed a great evil that God knows and is judging them based on that. Do you see? So you cannot actually advocate. So if you're a universalist, you cannot advocate for God that God is God is bounded to like forgive them, or God is bounded to like not put them in hell. That would be hypocrisy, because these are evil people. They deserve to be punished. Unless God forgives them out of his own will, they have earned their evil, such that if an evil person is going to hell and you are crying that, oh God, why are you sending him to hell? The evil person will just be like, bro, do you know what I did? You have no idea what I've done. So just shut up. That kind of thing. So all these emotion about this thing, God does not send good people to hell. Are you happy now? Because it will be a contradiction. Anybody that God judges as good, he doesn't send them to hell. It's a fact. If not, the law of no contradiction doesn't work. And those terms that we are using, the terms of punishment, the terms of reward or blessing, if it is blessing if it is not blessing to be in hell, then the evil people cannot be in heaven, because that will be blessing on them. Do you understand? Like, do you get? Like, if anyone dies, let's say we are all evil, man. We are all evil. We are bad people, right? If we end up in heaven, it will be by God's grace that God forgave us. It will not be because of our acts. It will be because of God's grace. He decides to forgive us. He chose us. We are happy. We are grateful for that, right? So anyway, like, I will flesh it out more when I get back to like my dormitory, where I will write it on the wall for you guys, so that you can see what I'm talking about. It's actually a deeper argument, especially the part of the analytic terms that we are using. In terms of hell, heaven, it's not just a place where there's pain. It's a place of judgment. Do you understand that? If we don't remove it, if it's a place of judgment, then judgment has to happen. And those who are the only people that will go to hell will be people that have been judged as evil. And that means they were truly evil and they deserved it. Do you understand? So God doesn't just send people to hell for no reason, or send good people to hell. It doesn't happen, okay? And God doesn't punish good people here on earth. God doesn't punish good people. If a good person, if you see him suffering, the worst form of suffering, it is not evil. It is not punishment. It is pain. God is testing them, or God is going to reward them, compensate them somewhat. Okay? So this way, you can answer the questions about the believer suffering in this world, and also you can answer the question about who is going to go to hell, and those people that will go to hell, they would have deserved it. Anyway, let me see what you think in the comment section. See you guys later. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.